Hey guys, my name is Shayla. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, we talk about motherhood, we talk about pregnancy, we do things kind of eco-friendly, natural, hippie, granola. We keep it kind of middle ground, I think. My husband's like, no you don't. I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty open-minded to all the, I'm definitely open-minded, but I might take it a little extreme. Anyway, we keep things positive. So I have found in motherhood, because motherhood can be very challenging with partner resentment and just like meeting the needs of everyone else, it can be hard. So I found that mindset has literally carried me through the past 5 years. I have a almost 5-year-old, an almost 3-year-old, and a 6-month-old. And just keeping my mind right has been what it's all about. So I actually created a guide. If you are like struggling in motherhood a little bit with partner resentment or just like, why is this so hard and why am I not enjoying it? Please get my guide, please. I made it for me when I first had my baby, or me a year ago when I was just, you're just struggling, and it just helps you to like reframe and just, it's amazing. I've put my heart into it. Anyway, you can get that at heyshayla.com/shop. Today, we are going to talk about, I'm just gonna kind of like word vomit, okay? And I'm gonna talk about why I pulled my kids from preschool. You might be like, I don't really care. Well, that's fine, because this might not be applicable to you at all. And I'm not trying to convince you to pull your own kids from preschool. I just want to walk you through this mind process because I feel like a lot of you are going to relate to making big decisions for your family and not knowing if they're the right ones and stressing about it and thinking about it and then like making the decision and then going back on it and being like, what am I doing? I don't know. I made a video about how I was kind of struggling. And I'm kind of coming out of that a little bit. And so that's good. I think it's winter. I think it's having like a 6-month-old. I think it's having 3 kids. I think there's a lot of things. But I'm starting to like get life back into me. But comments used to never bother me. I could just like, oh my gosh, they will send me in a tailspin lately. One said that I did too many ads. I'm like, am I doing too many ads? I want people to like my videos. I don't want them to feel like I'm doing too many ads, but I also have to feed my family. Like, and so many people came and they're like, yeah, this is like part of it. When we watch YouTube videos, we expect there to be ads. Then somebody messaged me and was like, your guide's too expensive. Oh, and there's typos. And I was like, okay, that was so mean. Why did you say that? Like, I don't even know what to, and normally these things wouldn't have, someone else was like, the audio is terrible. And I'm like, okay, well, if you don't like the audio, I'm really sorry. If you're a mom that's like, I don't care, keep going. Here we go. Why I pulled my girls from preschool. There are like so many reasons. So just a background, our preschool is, you can choose between 2 to 5 days a week in the morning time for 3 hours. And we live about 15 minutes away. So if I got them into their class and done like right at the time and got back here, that would be only a half an hour of like drive time, right? So I'd have 2.5 hours to work. But usually it's a little bit longer. So it's closer to like 2 hours, 2 to 2.5 hours to work. And they can't start till they're 18 months. So it's just for the older 2, not for the younger one until he's 18 months, which is next spring. So that's one. I like the work time is not a lot, but I'm like, okay, I'll take it. And they get to go to preschool. This is great. And it was working pretty well because I would just stay there. I wouldn't even travel home. I would just stay there and work and whatever. Then when he was born, where I would just let him sleep on me while I worked. Then he started having like an actual schedule, and his schedule conflicts with getting there. So usually he'd fall asleep on the way to preschool, and sometimes it would work amazing. This is what happened. One day he slept for like 2 hours during it, and I was just working away. Then he woke up and I was like, okay, well now we have like a weird 45 minutes till they start. Came home, did a little cleaning, went back. It was great. The next day he fell asleep, and I, silly me, had to go to the bathroom. So I brought him into the bathroom, did my thing. He woke up after napping for like 15 minutes. And you know when a baby wakes up, now we restart their wake window. So now he's gonna be awake for the next 2 hours while the girls are in preschool for 2 hours. So he was awake and then he fell asleep when I went to go pick them up. And I was just like, so I need to, in my head, know that preschool is not reliable time to work, because it's not. And I was just like, it was a hard pill to swallow. I can't rely on this time to work, so I have to rely on Seth. That's the only other option, which is fine. And then said that I do this hot potato thing. Then the illness came. And the illness, they were just like, sorry, we've got norovirus going around. Sorry, we've got influenza going around. My neighbor who also goes to this place is like, we have the influenza and it's worse than COVID. It's the worst thing I've ever experienced. And I was just like, oh my God. So I was having like extreme anxiety about the illness. So I tried to do everything to keep myself healthy and the kids healthy. The kids are on vitamins. I'm on vitamins. The vitamins that I have right now are called Gem. This video is sponsored by Gem. First of all, everybody's sick. Second of all, moms can't go down because when we go down, we still have to get back up. So the reason why I like Gem is because they're a whole food bite. This is an unopened one. This is the one that I'm currently using. So it's got turmeric, all of the vitamins in here you're getting from real food. So there's chickpeas in here, which gives you K12, mushrooms, which give you D2, stone fruit to help with digestion, quinoa for vitamin B, probiotics, prebiotics, and they taste delicious. So this is kind of like a turmeric-y, gingery, citrusy bite. They worked with pastry chefs to make sure that it tastes delicious. And then they also worked with all the other scientists to make sure that it's giving you everything that you need. But if this makes sense to you to get your vitamins from like a whole food, it makes sense to me. They also have other things like energy bites. I just want like a little, like this. I need a little bit of energy. I want to focus on something. I'll take one of these because that energy is coming from a whole food. If you want to check this out, Hey Shayla will give you a special discount on your first month. dailygem.com/HeyShayla. Okay, so that's what I'm doing to keep myself healthy. But I was like, is this postpartum anxiety that I'm experiencing? Because I would not have them go to school because I didn't want them to get sick. I was like, is it worth it? Is the 2 hours of maybe getting some work done worth them being sick for the next week? I don't know. So one week they didn't go at all because they kind of had a stuffy nose. And I was like, well, I don't want them to give this stuffy nose to anyone else. And I don't want them to get sick. And I talked to my pediatrician about this. So, okay, I heard one time that's like, before you're a mom, you get all of your opinions from external. When you're a mom, you trust your gut more. You have internal that you know is right and you stop asking everybody else. Well, I don't. I still ask everybody because I needed to validate. So I felt like pulling them from preschool is the right thing to do. But I was like, it's educational. They have friends there. Am I gonna let my anxiety about their illness and the schedule ruin that for them? Am I the worst mom ever? My pediatrician was like, no, because I went to her. I went to the appointment and I was like so anxious. I was almost crying on the way there because I was just like, I'm trying to make this decision about preschool. We were gonna start the first day at the Gym Daycare and I was like, listen, we pulled them from preschool and it's a little bit of because of the illness. Is that insane? She's like, no, people do that all the time. There's a lot that goes around in preschools. Instead of going to preschool, we're gonna be going to like the science museum and the zoo, and I feel like there's a lot of exposure there. And she's like, less, because you're not just breathing in each other's faces and like touching the toys all, like, yes, there'll be germs there. It's like you're all spread out a little bit more. I was like, okay, I feel better. And she's like, and you need to do what's best for your family unit. And this was the message that I needed to hear. She's like, if it's not working for the unit as a family, it's not working. And I also talked to their preschool director and I was like, I'm asking you because I know you're gonna tell me that I should keep them. So I wanna hear your opinion. She's like, yes, I believe that preschool is important and not for the educational pieces. If you're already gonna homeschool in the fall, so you can do the educational pieces. She's like, it's the socialization that's important. And I'm like, okay, noted. I will make sure that I get them around other kids or even like in an organized thing, like they're in gymnastics, or like have them do something like story time at library where they have to listen to someone else. And then she said, and I need to hear this too, there's no wrong answer. If they stay in preschool, it's gonna be great for them. It might be a little more challenging for you. If you pull them from preschool, it might be a little more challenging to get them social interactions, but it'll be better for you. So like both decisions will be good. And they're both, and this is what Seth and I talked about and I needed to remind myself, they will both have pros and cons. So keeping them in will have their own set of pros and cons. Taking them out will have their own, a different set of pros and cons. So what we did is we pulled them. We have a babysitter twice a week and then the Gym Daycare. The babysitter is a lot of money. I did not make this much money when I was babysitting. Granted, it was 100 years ago, but like, I'm like, this is so much money to pay a babysitter and I don't even feel like I'm paying premium rates. So I'm like, okay. Seth is like, you can't complain about how much the babysitter's costing because this was the decision you wanted. And I was like, yes, I can complain about it because it's still a lot, even though I'm glad I made this decision. It's nice because they will watch Colford. And then when he needs a nap, I go bring him up, put him down for a nap, and then I work a little longer. So I have like the whole time, it's more than 3 hours. So I've got that twice a week. And then the rest of the time I can just mom and we can go do activities outside the house. Also, the Gym Daycare, the timing, you have to sign, until they're 1, you have to sign them up for a slot at the gym. You can't just show up and be like, here's my kid. But you have to do it 2 hours in advance. So like this morning, he woke up at 6:45 and I was like, I kind of slept in. Probably won't need a nap till 9:45. So we could go at 8:30 and I would just go for a quick 45 minutes and then get him back here for his nap. But I couldn't do it because it was less than 2 hours from 6:45 to 8:30. So I couldn't sign him up for the 8:30 slot. Now he's going to sleep from 9:30 to 11:30 and the daycare ends at 12:30 and then it opens again from 4:30 to 6:30 when he's really fussy and he's like kind of ready for bed but not quite yet. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. So the timing is a little bit wonky. And I talked to a friend of mine, gosh, this is so much processing, who like does not do any sleep schedule, does not track any sleep, does not do wake windows. Her kids fall asleep in Costco. I'm like, what? And she's like, I trust that their bodies will sleep when they need to sleep. Full stop. Okay. I want to have her on my podcast when I get it up and running because I was like, but Emily, can I wake him up during his nap time so that like today he went to sleep at 9:30. Could I wake him up at 10:30 to get to the gym for like from 11 to 12:30? And she's like, yes. If that's going to help you in your mental health, he will wake up. He'll go to the daycare and then he might take a longer nap in the afternoon or he might go to bed a little earlier or maybe not. Maybe next week he naps way more or what. You just do what you need to do. Get on with your day. If he sleeps in the carrier, that counts. If he sleeps in the car seat, that counts. And I was like, okay. And I'm telling you, this is why I was crying on the way to the pediatrician. I had so much anxiety, I almost canceled. I was like, Seth, I don't know that I'm going to make it to the gym today, because I had to take him to the doctor and then I was going to meet them at the gym because his nap is going to be all wonky because he took a 20-minute nap in the morning and then he got a 20-minute nap before we got to the doctor's appointment, and then I had to wake him up for the doctor's appointment, and then I had to bring him to the gym, and I was like, he's going to be so fussy. He did incredibly. I had to like fight myself to get to the gym. I'm not kidding. And I do think I have a little postpartum anxiety. And I stopped drinking caffeine, which helped with my anxiety, but it's mostly around the sleep. And I've let go a lot since my first, which is incredible because I'm still psycho about it. But he did awesome all day long. And he took like 3 20-minute naps probably. I think he took a longer one in the afternoon. And then last week he got like significantly less sleep. This week because I still track it just to know how much sleep they're getting. So last week he averaged about 13 hours. This week he's averaging closer to 14 hours. So she's right, they make it up. And I just need to stress less about it. But I was like trying to make this decision for probably 3 weeks. And I was just talking to Seth about it and stressing about it. Oh, and a lot of people ask me how I found my babysitter. So there's a few different ways because we've had a few through the years. I ask people, hey, do you know anybody who wants to babysit, who likes to babysit? I ask people that I know who are in college, any of their friends. I ask my neighbor whose grandkids are in high school if her grandkids want to or if they know anybody. I have a cousin who's in college, and I was like, do you know anybody who's going to the U who wants to babysit? Care.com, I found people, because the referrals are like how I want to do it. Sometimes I would hire somebody and then I'm here. So I would hear how they talk to them. And they're not mean, they're not bad, but I'm like, that's not how I would do it. And I've had to let that go a little bit. And actually one of my babysitters is amazing. She reads these books that I tell her about. She's like, that was actually really helpful. And I was like, thanks for reading that book. But I found, and I read this in a book, you have them come to your house for like their first time and you pay them for it, and you just have them come for like 2 hours and you just hang out with them. So they're not even really babysitting. They're just hanging out with you, playing with your kids while you're playing with your kids. And it's like, you can see how I resolve conflicts. You can see how I can see how you would resolve a conflict. So they can kind of see how you do it. You can kind of get a vibe for them. Because I want to be like BFFs with the people that are watching my kids. I was BFFs with my nanny. I would stay after the kids would go to sleep. Her and I would have a glass of wine, talk about anything. She was like my mentor. It was awesome. But like, I know that everybody doesn't want that. So I like try to push this friendship on all these babysitters, and some of them are here for it and some of them are not. I got a lot of DMs asking like, how do you find your person? So I just ask around, or I do care.com, and I have found some success. I'm just not competitive. So like, I'm like kind of wishy-washy about what I want. So that makes it harder. And then you can also ask your preschool teachers like, hey, do you know anybody? And that's what I did for next year, because we're going to homeschool, but I still need some care. So their preschool, she does Spanish. So I was like, do you know anybody who's Spanish speaking that would want a nanny? So hopefully we can get connected somewhere through that. So that's it. I just wanted to process this out loud because it really was weighing on me for so long. And I feel like as moms, we always have these like decisions that feel massive. And like Seth, I told him, I was like, Seth, I'm telling you, we need to pull them for preschool. He's like, okay, then let's do it. Let's pull them for preschool. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, didn't you just say that's what you wanted to do? I'm like, yes, but is that the right decision? He's like, if that's what you say is the right decision, then that's what we need to do. I guess even though you might not be considering pulling your kids for preschool, what I'm trying to tell you is there's going to be pros and cons to every single decision you make. Your gut knows the right decision. Stop asking everybody else like I did. And do what's right for the family unit. I hope this is helpful for a decision that you're making. And I would love to know if you have had a grappling decision like this to make and what you decided. I would love to know the pros and cons of it. If you need a word vomit all over the comment section about this, let's hear it. Because I feel like lots of moms are just making hard decisions for their families, not knowing if they're the right ones, but knowing inside that they are. So, okay. Have a great day. Bye.